So what's going on guys, Kids here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the new updated AOE Viessa build in the first Descendant. So in this guide I will show you what weapons and modules you want to get. Then I will explain every single skill and show you the best reactor and external components. And then lastly we will take a closer look at the gameplay and weapon mods, so you would know the reason behind every single build choice, and what exactly will give us this insane AOE damage and much more. If this sounds interesting to you, then let's get straight into it. So our new Viessa build is insanely powerful, because we will be using a specific module setup in a combination with just one single weapon. And right now this setup is just too overpowered. This is currently the new way to get millions of XP, gold and items. So I recommend for every player to level your Viessa to level 40 and use this build to farm every single thing that you need for your other characters. And by the way, after the new Valby nerf, this is the best AoE farming build in the game. So then with that said, now let's take a look at our modules. And no matter what you use, so the default or ultimate Viessa, both of them will work the same, just the ultimate Viessa will be a bit stronger. So then for the first one we have the Cold Snap, which creates a cold zone in front that remains for a certain period of time. Enemies entering the cold snap zone are inflicted with the Ice Shackle and suffer continuous damage. And this is the main part of our infinite AoE setup. Then the long distance maneuvering, which modifies the grappling hook range to 25 meters. But the base charge time changes to 6 seconds, and the charge time increases by 20%. This will also increase your max module capacity, which is our main goal. Then the Battle of Stamina, that increases max HP by 12% and skill duration by 8%. Then Nimble Fingers, that reduces the skill cooldown by 6%. Then Focus on Chill, which increases skill power by 19% and reduces skill cooldowns by 6%. Then MP Conversion, which reduces skill cooldowns by 9% but reduces max mana by 4%. Then Maximize Range, which increases skill range by 24%. but reduces skill power modifier by 5%. Then Anti-Freeze Solution, that gives us frostbite immunity and increases chill resistance by 7%. Then Maximize Duration, which increases skill duration by 10% and reduces skill power by 5%. Then Skill Expansion, that increases skill effect range by 12%. Then Focus on Tech, that increases tech skill power modifier by 17% and reduces skill cooldowns by 6%. And finally the Skill Extension, which increases skill duration by 9%. So overall our main goal with this setup is to make our abilities as powerful as possible, while reducing their cooldowns so we could spam them 24/7 and have an infinite amount of AoE damage. Then next up let's take a look at the best weapons and mods that we should use. And as our build will be only using one weapon, so then for the second and third slot, this is your own personal preference. If you are interested in other weapons, then scroll through my channel and you will find all the best mods for every single one. So then for our one and only god weapon we have the Thunder Cage Submachine Gun. This is currently the #1 meta weapon that doesn't need any introductions. But basically we will get up to 700k damage, and I've even seen my other friends using this exact setup but having everything upgraded to the max and getting 800 or even 900k DPS. So this weapon has a huge potential as long as you use the exact setup. So then the way you get this weapon is by first of all reaching Mastery 1, then obtaining the Thunder Cage Blueprint, Thunder Cage Nanotube, Thunder Cage Polymer Synxium, and Thunder Cage Synthetic Fiber from various battlefield missions across the sterile land. And afterwards then take those 4 Thunder Cage materials to the Anais in Albion and pay 100k gold to start the research request. And then when you get it, for mods we want to get the Better Insight, which increases critical hit rate by 10%, then Mental Focus, which reduces fire rate by 10%. But now when we shoot, our weapon's 80k increases by 0.8% for 2 seconds, and this can stack up to 30 times. So this is yet another reason for our insane millions of damage. Then Concentrate Priority, which increases critical hit damage by 8% and reduces reload time modifier by 8%. Then Better Concentration, that increases critical hit damage by 9%. Then Rifling Reinforcement, that increases 80k by 12%. Then Fire Rate Up, that increases our fire rate by 6%. Then Action and Reaction, which increases ADK by 15% and recoil by 5%. Then have aiming, that increases weak point damage by 10%, but reduces accuracy by -5%. Then expand weapon charge, that increases our rounds per magazine by 12%. And finally the weak point sight, that yet again increases our weak point damage by 10% and reduces accuracy by 5%. As you can see, because of our setup, we can do millions of DPS, and it is because we are using the most optimized mods, which are all maxed out and are made to stack as much ADK, crit damage and crit rate as humanly possible. These numbers will vary on your specific reactor, your Descendant modules, and how high or low your levels and upgrades are. And then last but not the least, let me show you how can you upgrade this weapon even further. So when you craft it, you will start at level 1, but by using the repair station and by dismantling all the other weapons that you don't use, you will be able to upgrade it. So that's why I recommend to break down your useless weapons, rather than selling them, because credits are way easier to earn than the materials. So keep getting materials and upgrading your weapon, and then on top of that, you can even use the weapon readjustment mechanic, which will allow you to use the workbench to reroll your weapon stats. Moreover, you can reroll all of your stats at once, or lock down individual stats you like, and only reroll the ones you don't. And the stats that we want to get are crit damage, crit rate, ADK increase, and weak point damage. And finally, the last third way to improve our weapon is by leveling up our unique ability. So each ultimate weapon comes with a unique ability that gives it a powerful effect, and you can enhance it even more. However, unlike the weapon transmission and the readjustment, there's no unique crafting material that you will need to create, but actually you will have to craft a Thunder Cage duplicate. Then take that one level duplicate to the workbench and sacrifice it to upgrade your unique ability to a stronger version, and it's that simple. Then next up, let's go over to the best reactor and external components. So your reactor is very important item that determines your skill damage and can also include extra modifiers that buff certain aspects of your build. I recommend prioritizing using reactor with the highest skill power and a sub-attack power. Specifically, my best job that I got is this burning mechanics reactor, but as I didn't get an SMG condition, so I'm still farming for a better god piece. And then as for your external components, they're even more of an RNG, at least until you've played the game for long enough to find basically every possible combination with a good stat roll. For our build specifically, I recommend to get the Annihilation Auxiliary Power that increases our max HP and defenses. And because we are using all 4 set pieces, so we get plus 6% skill duration, and our weapon's ADK increases depending on your max HP lost. Then next up we use the Annihilation Sensor for defenses and shield recovery, then Annihilation Memory for more HP, and lastly the Annihilation Processor for even more max HP. And finally, let's take a quick look at our skills and when we should use them. The first passive skill is called the Ice Sphere, which inflicts Ice Shackle that creates an ice sphere that flies to another nearby enemy, dealing AOE damage and inflicting the Ice Shackle effect. Then our first active skill is the Frost Shards, that fires a Frost Shard to damage enemies and deal AOE damage to a nearby enemy. This will also inflict the Ice Shackle. Then the second one is Frost Road skill, which increases movement speed and shields, and creates an ice sheet on the ground that inflicts the Ice Shackle. Then the Cold Snap skill, which deals chill damage to the enemies in front of you, and of course inflicts Ice Shackle. And by the way, this is the main part of our setup. And finally, we have the Blizzard skill, which creates a blizzard that deals continuous damage, debuffs defenses, inflicts AoE damage and Ice Shackle. So then in a quick summary, our main gameplay is very simple. We just want to find a good spot. It will work the best in this type of circle shape, so then we just keep using the Cold Snap skill every time as soon as it comes up, and then rinse and repeat. Because of our modules and buffs, we will be doing insane amount of damage, and the ground will be always frosted. So then as soon as the enemies spawn, we just one-shot them in a massive AoE range. As I said in the beginning of the video, this is the new way to farm Cooper Shards, XP, items and anything else you need, so have fun. And with that said, I really do appreciate everyone for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or suggestions, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and not miss any more amazing content. With that said, you have an amazing day and I will see you in the next one, so take it easy, peace.